1, 2, 3. My darling, I love you, 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 I love you. Love you, I 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 love you. Love you, I 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 love you.
What's up, everybody? It's your favorite YouTuber, the spiritual bad bitch. Welcome to my channel. If you are back, then welcome back. I hope you are happy to be finding yourself back on my channel. And if you are new, then you are lucky to be here, because we be getting into all the little tricks and hacks of the bad bitches that they be gatekeeping. How to be the main character, practical tips for self-love and confidence. Girl, I got you. It's gonna be the biggest confidence boost that you didn't even know that you needed today. You are also gonna be experiencing the biggest glow up on camera right now. I am gonna be installing this gorgeous red wig while I give you my tips. Make sure you stay for the whole transformation because it's gonna be good. And something else that we're gonna be getting into in this video is the alter ego effect. My real name is not Anila Sita. My real name is Selina. I created Anila Sita as an alter ego, as a personality who I can step into that personality whenever I'm feeling like I'm lacking within myself. You know, when you just have those days when you're insecure. I created Anila Sita even before my YouTube. I created that from my name because if you reverse Selina, it becomes Aniles, and my grandmother's maiden name is Sita, which, you know, it just reminds me of like Mama Sita, like sexy mommy, you know? So I combined the two, Aniles and Sita, and it became Anila Sita. She is a more fully realized version of myself. She is more confident. She has no issues speaking up for herself. She has no issues being her authentic self. She has no issues putting on a goddamn show, because like Britney Spears said, there's only two types of people in the world. The ones that entertain and the ones that observe. And bitch, I'm the one who entertains. So Anila Sita is my way of stepping into that. Now, I just want to say that the alter ego does not have to be a public persona that you announce. It can be if you're an artist or entrepreneur and you would like to display that persona to other people, but I feel like it's really for you. That's why this is such a practical tip for self-love. If there's ever a situation where, you know, you feel scared or your inner child is feeling overwhelmed or like you can't do something, that's the opportunity for like the mother to step in, which is that alter ego, and be like, baby, step to the side, I got this. Like, that's what I'm here for, you know? Let me just quickly do this. What I was gonna say next about this alter ego, and I'm gonna give you a personal example of how I used it this week. I was dealing with a situation where this guy came into my emails asking to help me with my YouTube. He basically wanted to be a partner. I felt many times when I was speaking with him like he was crossing personal boundaries for me. In the past, when somebody crossed my boundaries, I would literally just be quiet and say nothing. But it was this alter ego that I have developed so much over the years now that I can confidently step into her like that because of how active she is within me. I was asserting my boundary and doing this in such a respectful way without getting emotional, because let me tell you guys, like, I am definitely learning this lesson recently of speaking up for yourself without becoming overly emotional. For a lot of us, when our boundaries get crossed, it can feel like somebody's trying to fuck with us and somebody's trying to, you know, be mean or disrespectful on purpose. But oftentimes it's just that, you know, other people are going to be how they are, but it's your responsibility to address when something is not right for you. And this kind of brings me to my next practical tip for self-love. Y'all, radical self-expression will heal you so much. What does that mean? That means in any relationship you are in, that you have no fear of standing up for yourself, voicing your needs. I've really learned to say straight away in my relationship, what do you mean by that? I don't like how you said that. I don't like how that made me feel. And because I've gotten so quick at saying it, it's now become a habit for any interaction I have. Can I just tell you that the power that you feel within yourself when you no longer have a fear of upsetting people, when you say what you think, oh my God, it is just so incredibly healing. What message is that sending to your inner child when you speak up? It's sending a message that her feelings and thoughts matter, and she deserves to be spoken up for. And often when we fear that people are not gonna like us, or they're gonna think it's too much, or that we are too much with our emotions, like, oh, why is this bitch being so dramatic now? Why does she have to blow this out of proportion? But for me, it's always like, I trust my gut. And if my gut feeling is telling me something hasn't made me feel good, I just need to address it sometimes. If somebody triggers you, it's a lesson to speak up for yourself. Something else I was gonna say about radically expressing yourself and being honest is, if you can be the person in a group of people who all have one opinion, if you can be the person who has a completely different opinion, not for the mere sake of disagreeing with them, but for the sake of expressing what you like and who you are, I'm telling you, nothing develops more confidence than that. And often what happens when we are being completely authentic in everything we talk about and we share with people, sometimes people won't always respond to that with encouragement, because the majority of people on this planet don't love themselves and are not confident. So how, if you show up being your confident ass self, are they gonna like that? They probably won't, but it's gonna make you feel so good about being who you are, and it's gonna act as a magnet for the people that are really meant to be in your life. Recently, I've been having a lot of conversations with people, and I've noticed that when I give myself permission to completely express what I think and believe, other people kind of have a sigh of relief. They're like, oh, okay, thank God I can be honest with her. And it gives them the chance to also be their authentic selves. Just know that that radical self-expression is so inspiring to the right people, and it will make you feel like the baddest bitch ever when you can say what you think without needing anybody to validate that. Let me just do this off camera and I'll be back in a second. I literally look like I'm bald. Y'all, this wig cap has turned out so freaking good today, and it actually is tied in with the next thing that I wanted to share, which is another practical tip for self-love, which is to never rush. People who are always rushing, they lack self-love. And it's like a vicious cycle too, where you lack self-love, you find yourself leaving shit to the last minute, you find yourself rushing, and that leads to more lack of self-love. And I remember the time that really clicked for me, where I was able to change this in my life, is my bestie once told me, I was living at his house and I was gonna go to this dance class. It was 2 in the afternoon. The dance class was like at 4 or 5 or something, and I was in London and I had to take the train into central London, which takes a little bit of time when you're in the outskirts of London. And I remember him asking me like, oh, when are you gonna get ready for your class? So say if it was at 5, I then told him, oh, I'll get ready at like 4. And he was like, you'll get ready at 4, but you're probably gonna have to get on the train at 4:20. Is that really loving yourself? Only giving yourself 20 minutes to get ready? And I was like, wow, that conversation changed my whole perception on my life and how I've been doing things. We don't need to rush. We need to learn to set ourselves up for success and for having enough time to be in our juicy divine feminine energy and take our time. And that's why this step has turned out so good today, because I've decided to completely do it off camera in my own time. I don't know why, but every time the camera is on, I feel like I gotta rush. I'm really deprogramming that and learning to ask myself every single time I have to get ready for something, what would the version of me do right now that really loves herself? Y'all, it looks crazy right now. 'Cause I don't wanna fuck it up. Don't wanna fuck it up. Another practical tip for self-love, or more so confidence actually. I remember reading this book about charisma, and it talked about why certain people were perceived to have so much charisma. When you would talk to them, you would just feel so alive and passionate. And you want to know what the fucking trick was for how to be the most charismatic version of yourself? You're literally gonna be like, what the fuck, when you hear the answer? It is being present. What does that mean? That means having eye contact with the person. That means feeling interested in what they are saying and expressing yourself in the present moment as if you are thinking about nothing else but that person that you're talking to. A lot of us are not doing that. Majority of the time when I have interactions with people, I notice just how horrible social skills are nowadays. Majority of people don't know how to really listen. Sitting there and really taking in what someone is saying without being fucking distracted or having to assert your own opinion. This also gets me to another practical tip for confidence and self-love. And actually, a main character tip. Learning how to be present in your life. Really letting go of this habit of always obsessing over the future or the past. A lot of us are just wired in this busy, overstimulated world to be stressed. Let me tell you, stress is just the anti-bad bitch habit. It is not something that is going to benefit you in the long run. Regulating your nervous system. I think being present and mindful is one of the best ways to regulate that nervous system. I recently became certified as a breathwork facilitator. I've mentioned it a couple times now. So if this is your first time hearing it, go watch my other videos because there's so much wisdom in there that I'm sharing from the breathwork stuff I've learned. In this breathwork training that I did, I realized that I didn't even know how to breathe. I didn't know how to breathe into my stomach. A lot of us breathe into our chest. So if I told you breathe in deeply right now, you're probably gonna go, opposed to breathing into your belly, which looks more like a, okay, you can't see it right now because I'm wearing a baggy shirt, but I was breathing into my stomach. That is the ultimate bad bitch trick, is getting into your body in every single situation, because that present moment has all the wisdom that you need. The future is going to resolve itself. The problems that you think are pending in the future, your worst case scenario, overthinking, is probably not even going to happen. And if you learn to be more present here and now, you'll see that in time everything always works out the way that it needs to. Let me just put some more glue. A main character tip, because y'all know I was going to talk about being a main character too. I have recently been having conversations with people where two people have said this already to me who are dancers. They said that they realized they don't want to dance anymore the way that people would traditionally in the dance industry, which is to dance backup for an artist, but they would like to be the main character. And I kept hearing this phrase of, how can I be the main character if I'm the backup dancer? And you can really apply this as an analogy to life. I feel like a lot of us are in the background when we would like to be in the front. Or maybe we don't always feel like the main character, we feel like a side character. But that is something that is directly in your control. A main character is a main character because they decide that they are the main character and they perceive the world around them. You know, a lot of us who are obsessed with this idea of being the main character, we are so fixated on how people respond to us. We are way too self-aware, is my point. We are thinking too much about ourselves when really the main character is not spending so much time thinking about themselves, but they are just in awe of the world. Like, think about a girl. A girl is going to another country and maybe she gets a job as a bartender. She wants to make her dreams come true. It actually reminds me of the movie Burlesque. If you haven't seen it, it's a great movie, go watch it. If you have seen it, then you know she goes to Los Angeles from small town, I think it's Idaho or Iowa, I think it is. She ends up working first as a waitress, and then she ends up becoming a backup dancer as part of this show, this burlesque. That's where she was working as the waitress. And what's really funny to me is in the movie, she is basically like the side character in the beginning. She's a waitress and then she's a backup dancer, but yet the movie is about her. Do you get what my point is with this entire fucking story? Is that even if you are finding yourself somewhere in your life where you feel like you're in the background, baby, take charge and realize that you are the main character when you decide that you are the main character. Nobody has to shine a light on you for you to be the main character. That's really what I've realized recently, is like, even in my relationship, like I used to have a lot of codependent habits. Like my boyfriend was busy doing his own thing, I would then always blame him in my mind and be like, he's not making me feel like the main character right now. I often would find myself saying around people, they are not making me feel like the main character. And then I realized that that's such a fucking trap, because nobody is here to be our validation machine or to make us feel like the main character. In other words, we don't need other people's permission in order to be the main character. We can decide that we are the fucking main character no matter where we are finding ourselves in our life. Whether we are the background dancer or we are in the front, it doesn't matter. You are the main character because you decide so. What I've recently then been doing is really tuning into, what would my main character self want to be doing? If I'm walking on the street with headphones on, you know, sometimes I just want to sing along to a song, and I would often not do that out of fear of like embarrassing myself. And then I ask the question, like, how would the main character act here? And it's like, the main character wouldn't give a fuck. She would just be herself. She would just be unapologetic. And that energy radiates main character like nothing else. Other people will notice it. And in time, because everything is always from within, that energy is going to attract opportunities and experiences into your life that make you feel even more like the main character. That's my little pep talk on being the main character. I really would like to kind of reiterate this point of being present. Start taking up a meditation practice. Start listening to affirmations. Start doing breath work. I know that these tips might be boring and it's maybe not like what you were expecting to hear. I could tell you you're a bad bitch. I could tell you you're good enough. I could tell you you're amazing. Like, let me tell you right now, you're amazing, you're a bad bitch, you're good enough. But at the end of the day, you're gonna leave this video and maybe that energy won't stay with you. So I wanna give you these tips that you can implement into your daily life that can really help you become this fully realized version of yourself that loves herself so much. Another great tip for self-love. I once did a full moon event on Zoom where I led a guided meditation, and one of the girls, she said something in that session that really stayed with me. I led them through a meditation that would have them seeing their future self. And one of the girls said she saw that her fully realized version of herself, her higher self, she saw that this was a woman that gave unconditionally. She gave to people without really expecting anything back or giving in a stingy, conditional way. A lot of us fall into that category of, we don't give to people because we want to, because our cup is full. We do it because either we feel obligated, either we want to get something from them. It's just not unconditional, basically. This has really stayed in my head, what this girl has said, because I have been implementing this in my life and I've noticed just how much it makes me feel so much self-love. It connects me with the frequency of love instantly when I give to people, not from a place of expecting anything from them, but I do it from my heart being full and feeling like there is an abundance out there. So if I give to somebody, even if I don't get it back from that person in the moment, it's gonna come back from someone else or from something else, because energy is energy and it cannot be made or destroyed. Physics, it can only be transferred. So if you give energy to the world and it's good, of course that's gonna come back to you karmically. But a lot of us are really in lack and afraid, and we just don't need to be walking that path. Learn to give unconditionally. And if you feel like you can't do that and your cup is empty, then yes, please fill up your cup. Figure out what it is that you need to fill up your cup and your heart to make you feel like you can be this woman or man that is giving unconditionally to others. Breathwork, again, is another great way to do that. It kind of moves all the bullshit out of your body that is keeping you in a shitty vibration. It helps you reconnect with that frequency of utter self-love. Breathwork has changed my life. It has exactly done that. I am now going to play some music for 5 minutes, and then I shall be back with you guys looking at how the situation is. But I really don't know because the hairline is a little bit weird. I got this wig on Amazon. We're gonna slay. We're gonna figure this out. Let's have a look. Okay, I just glued this down again because it wasn't sticking right, but I did just quickly want to say something else about the main character thing I was talking about. If you are finding yourself being someone who's very self-conscious, way too self-aware, always overthinking what people think of you, or oh my god, I really said this weird thing just now, and now they're probably thinking about that weird thing, and now I feel weird inside myself, all of that shit needs to stop. And instead of having the focus always being on you and the way that you are received by other people, your focus needs to be on the world around you. That's why I love the example of that movie Burlesque, because nowhere in the movie is she having these negative thoughts about herself. Maybe yes, sometimes because it's human, but not to the point where it interrupts her story or to the point where it holds her back from being the main character. She's just the fucking main character because she is. Listening to affirmations and saying affirmations is another great way and another practical tip for loving yourself. Y'all know I always say this, but we are the stories that we continuously reaffirm to ourselves. And a lot of us have a very negative self-dialogue, me included. I've really been trying to step out of that recently and watch my words and how I talk about myself. I want you to know that everything I'm talking about is really stuff that I embody myself. I don't just make videos talking about shit that I don't do or that doesn't help me. And I feel like a lot of these things I've said are kind of simple reminders, but things that we forget about on a day-to-day basis. And if we can incorporate that, life becomes so much more beautiful because everything is really from within. You know, as within, so without. Show up in this world the way that you want to show up. Do the things that you love. Do the things that make you feel like you are loving yourself, that are not for the sake of anybody else but you. And nothing increases your confidence more than that. And feeling like the goddamn main character is just doing whatever the fuck you want to do, pivoting and switching things up if you need to do that. I've been going through this like massive transformation recently where I really do feel like I'm moving in a completely different direction, and sometimes it's scary and I feel a part of me clinging to the past and wanting to hold on to the old me, but it's really about letting go of that and being like, look, that doesn't serve me anymore, and tuning into the direction that my heart feels is right for me. So think about that for yourself. Think about the highest version of yourself. What does she look like? What is she doing with her day-to-day life? And really taking steps to become that person. For example, I often refer to myself as a creative, as an artist. And I recently had this realization that I have not even spent that much time making art in my own life. Okay, I need to take a step back and actually think about how am I gonna be more of this artist and creative that I see myself to be, and forcing myself to step into that in little ways every day. So like, I'm a musician, so what I've been doing recently is just making sure that every day I make a little bit of music, I sing a little bit, I record something, I do some harmonies, I do something that aligns with that future version of myself. Or same with the breathwork training I did recently. I did that as a way to love myself. I invested that money because I knew that it was going to lead me to regulate my nervous system, heal myself, feel more authentic and embodied in who I am, and just love myself more. A lot of us struggle with self-love because we are so addicted to validation, and the noise around us of all the people that we have in our life can get too much, and it can clog up our system and completely disconnect us from who we really are and what we really want. But I've noticed it is always walking the path of least resistance, going in the direction that feels like there is the least struggle, the least suffering, and the most happiness. And that doesn't mean that there aren't challenges when you go in the direction of, you know, who you really are and what you love, but it's just that there will be so much less struggle and suffering than going in a goddamn direction that is not for you and you don't even know why you're doing it anymore. I'm gonna do my makeup right now and finish this off, and then we're gonna look at the outfit because it is gonna be looking sexy as shit. So just wait for it. Y'all, the wig is motherfucking installed and it is slaying hardcore. The bathroom is the only place that actually has good light, so I can show it to you guys. It looks like it's orange, like ginger, but it's actually red. It really slays. And I wanted to show you my outfit. These are the shoes. I guess I just wanted to finish this video off by saying that dressing how you want to dress is another way to love yourself. I used to be afraid to fully express myself in my fashion because I would be afraid of being judged, or I would think that I have to dress a different way. I've often been told growing up, like, I need to dress more womanly, I need to dress more ladylike. And truthfully, I don't do that anymore. And it's increased my self-love so much to just do what I want to do. I know that sounds simple, but I feel like that's a great way to finish off this video with my cute ass little outfit and boots. I'm gonna be going to a show tonight, so I'm gonna go. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you gained value from this video, and yeah, thank you for staying all the way through. I'm sending you so much love, light, and blessings.